In this lesson, we will review the typical exterior wall construction found in residential buildings. Residential exterior walls are composed of several layers, which each serve a purpose. These layers include a structural component, sheathing, a vapor barrier and insulation, an exterior finish, and an interior finish. Let's start by going over the structural components of an exterior wall. Exterior walls in residential houses and small buildings are almost always load-bearing walls. In essence, these walls are structural in nature with punched openings for windows and doors. The structural component of exterior walls is typically built out of stud framing, both wood and cold-formed metal framing, and CMU. In stud walls, the studs are built 12 inches, 16 inches, or 24 inches on center. Horizontal channel bracing may be added for additional support. CMU in exterior walls may consist of 6 inches, 8 inches, or 12 inches wide block, which can be reinforced both vertically and horizontally. If vertical reinforcement is added, the CMU cells will be grouted solid. Next, we have the exterior sheathing, a vapor barrier, and insulation. In stud construction, insulation is added between the studs. You will typically see batt insulation installed the full width of the studs. A vapor barrier may be added to the inside face of the stud wall, on the warm side of the insulation, to prevent moisture from entering into the exterior wall cavity. It is important to note that adding insulation between the studs may not be very effective. The studs, especially metal studs, create what is called a thermal bridge. In essence, the studs become thermal conductors, which leads to significant heat loss. In many cases, the insulation will be 40% less effective due to thermal bridging. The solution to this problem is to provide an additional layer of rigid or semi-rigid insulation on the outside face of the sheathing. This will prevent studs from being in direct contact with cold air. Exterior sheathing is added on the outside face of the studs. Sheathing is made of 5/8 inch exterior grade gypsum board or plywood. The sheathing helps brace the stud wall, creating more stability in the structure. In CMU construction, a vapor barrier is applied to the outside face of CMU, typically fluid applied, with rigid or semi-rigid insulation added on top. Next, we'll cover exterior finishes. There are several common exterior finishes used in residential construction. These include wood siding, stucco, and brick veneer. Wood siding is most often used in stud construction. It consists of horizontal boards that are fastened through the exterior sheathing and into the stud wall behind. Behind the wood siding is permeable building paper that allows any water vapor in the wall to escape to the outside. The siding is available in different forms. Bevel siding, or lap siding, is made by overlapping tapered boards and nailing each board above the overlap. A shiplap siding consists of boards joined edge to edge with overlapping rabbeted joints. A stucco finish is used in both stud and CMU construction. Stucco is a coarse plaster composed of Portland cement, sand, and hydrated lime mixed with water and applied in a plastic state to form a hard covering for the exterior walls. In stud construction, stucco is applied in 3 coats over waterproof building paper and metal lathe. The thickness of the stucco is around 7/8 inch thick. In CMU construction, stucco is applied in 2 coats and is around 1/2 inch thick. Stucco is available in different finish coats, ranging from a fine texture to coarse. Brick veneer is a very popular exterior finish. If you see a brick finish on a building, what you are seeing is not a solid structural brick wall. Instead, it is a thin decorative element that is tied back to the structural wall. Brick veneer walls utilize what is known as a rain screen system. In a rain screen system, a pressure equalized airspace is located between a wall cladding veneer and the air barrier, sheathing, and insulation. The idea is that the wall cladding will prevent most wind-driven rain from reaching the air barrier, therefore reducing the chances of a leak. Any water which does reach the air barrier is weeped back out to the exterior by moving down the airspace, to the flashing, and out weep holes at the bottom. Brick veneer consists of a single withe of common bricks, or building bricks, that are joined together using mortar. The nominal size of a typical brick is 4 inches by 2 2/3 inches by 8 inches. The bricks are then connected to the stud, or CMU wall, using tiebacks, which provide lateral stability for the brick veneer. Tiebacks are installed every 6th course vertically and 24 inches on center horizontally, and are embedded in the brick mortar joints. An airspace is provided between the brick veneer and insulation or air barrier behind. The airspace should be at least 2 inches wide to allow water to drain out, and to ensure any mortar from the brick veneer does not clog the airspace during construction. At the bottom of the wall, or at the top of an opening, weep holes must be provided every 16 inches or 24 inches on center. The weep holes must be provided in the bottom mortar joint, at the flashing. This ensures any water in the wall cavity will drain properly to the exterior. The flashing is an important component of a brick veneer wall. It is located at the bottom of the wall system and at the top of the wall opening, window, or door. Flashing is typically made of metal, stainless steel or aluminum, and bent to form a slope, down and away from the wall. It is secured to the structural wall behind and terminates just outboard of the brick veneer. A lip should be included on the exterior to ensure water drips away from the wall. Finally, we will have interior finishes. The interior face of an exterior wall is not much different than an interior partition. In a stud wall, 5/8 inch gypsum board is fastened to the studs. If a fire rating is needed, layers of Type X gypsum board are used. In CMU wall construction, gypsum board cannot be fastened directly to the CMU. Instead, 7/8 inch or 1.5 inch furring channels are installed, and the gypsum board is fashioned to the furring channels. Studs can also be used if insulation needs to be installed on the inside face of the CMU wall.